She humiliated me at a party, told me to obey or leave in front of everyone. Her new success coach stood there smirking. I walked out quietly. What she didn't know, I already had 47 videos of them together, and my inheritance money was about to disappear from her reach. My name is Warren Pierce. I'm 45 years old, and I've spent the last 22 years building a roofing company from nothing into something that pulls in close to $250,000 a year. 10 good men work for me, guys who depend on me to keep the jobs coming and the insurance claims flowing. I'm not special. I'm just a man who showed up every day, did the work, and tried to build something solid for the people I loved. When I met Natalie 12 years ago, she had 2 boys from a previous marriage. Trent was 8, Austin was 6. Their father had vanished somewhere into the Nevada desert chasing construction work and never looked back. No calls, no birthday cards, no child support, nothing. Those boys needed someone, and I stepped up. I didn't think about it too hard back then. You see kids hurting, you help. That's what men do. I paid for Austin's braces when his front teeth came in crooked, covered Trent's sports fees when he wanted to play varsity football, drove them to practice, sat through every game, helped with homework I barely understood myself. When Trent got arrested at 17 for shoplifting, I hired the lawyer and sat with him through every court appearance. Natalie cried and called me her hero. I thought I was building a family. Then my uncle Raymond died 8 months ago. Massive heart attack, 73 years old, gone before the ambulance arrived. He left me everything he had, $340,000 from a lifetime of saving and smart investing. I couldn't believe it. My hand shook when the lawyer read the will. Natalie had ideas immediately. We should put it in a joint account, she said that same night, her hand on my chest, voice soft like honey. For our future, Warren. For the boys' college. For us. Something in my gut twisted, but I ignored it. I loved her. I trusted her. So I did what she asked. Every dollar went into that account with both our names on it. That was March. By July, I noticed things. Her phone face down constantly. Late nights at school events when she taught summer courses. New clothes I didn't remember her buying. A distance in her eyes when I touched her, like she was somewhere else entirely. Then came the 4th of July party. Rick Holloway throws this thing every year. Big deal in our circle, contractors and business owners, good food, and better whiskey. I was talking with Dennis about a commercial job when I heard the glass shatter. Everyone turned. Natalie stood near the railing, her wine glass in pieces at her feet. She was staring at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Cold, almost hateful. Warren, she said, loud enough that conversation stopped. I need you to listen very carefully. I walked toward her, confused. Nat, what's? Do what I tell you. She cut me off, her voice sharp as a blade. Or pack your things and get out of my house. The silence that followed felt like the air being sucked out of the world. I stood there on Rick's deck with everyone staring, trying to process what just happened. Natalie's words hung in the air like poison gas. Do what I tell you, or pack your things and get out of my house. My house. The one I've been paying the mortgage on for 8 years. Natalie, I said quietly, keeping my voice steady even though my chest felt tight. What's going on? She crossed her arms, tilted her head like I was a student who disappointed her. That's when I noticed him, standing near the grill, watching the whole scene with his subtle smile. Tall guy, maybe 39 or 40, athletic build, one of those faces that looks like it belongs on a motivational poster. I'd seen him around lately, always at the edges of things. Natalie's networking events, her professional development seminars. This is exactly the problem, Warren, Natalie said, her voice carrying. You never listen. You just do whatever you want, spend money on your brother instead of our family, disappear into your work. I built that work for us. I interrupted. For you and the boys. She laughed. Actually laughed. The boys. You mean my sons? Because let's be clear, you're not their father. You never were. That one hit different. Trent and Austin were inside somewhere, probably heard every word. 8 years of ball games and late night talks, and believing I mattered to them, dismissed in one sentence. Rick Holloway stepped forward, uncomfortable. Hey, maybe we should all take a breath here. Stay out of it, Rick, Natalie snapped. Then she looked back at me. I want you to understand something, Warren. Things are changing. Either you adapt, or you leave. Simple as that. The guy by the grill moved closer. Natalie glanced at him, and something passed between them. Not subtle. Not innocent. Who is that? I asked, my voice harder now. That's Dorian Steele, she said like I should know the name. He's a success coach. He's been helping me understand what I really deserve in life. Dorian stepped forward, extending his hand like we were at a business meeting. Warren, good to finally meet you properly. Natalie's told me a lot about you. I didn't take his hand, just looked at it, then at him, then at my wife. A success coach. That's right, Dorian said smoothly. His voice had that podcast quality, overly confident, practiced. I help people identify limiting patterns and break through to their authentic potential. And my wife's authentic potential involves humiliating me at a party. Dorian smiled wider. Your wife's authentic potential involves being treated like the remarkable woman she is. But that's a conversation for another time. The arrogance dripped off him. This wasn't just some random guy. This was planned, orchestrated. She wanted me to see this, wanted everyone to see it. I looked at Natalie one more time. Is there something you want to tell me? She met my eyes without flinching. Yes. I'm done pretending to be happy in a marriage that stopped working years ago. You can either accept the new reality, or you can leave. Behind me, I heard someone whisper. Conversation started up again, people pretending they weren't listening while hanging on every word. I should have exploded, should have yelled, made a scene, defended myself. But something cold settled in my chest instead. Clarity, maybe, or just the survival instinct kicking in. All right, I said quietly. I think I need some air. I walked off that deck, through Rick's house, out to my truck. My hands were shaking when I gripped the steering wheel. Not from fear. From rage I was barely holding back. I didn't go home. I drove to the office, unlocked my desk, and pulled out the manila folder I'd been hiding for 3 weeks. The one from the private investigator I'd hired when Natalie's late nights started adding up. Time to see exactly what my wife had been up to. The manila folder sat on my desk like a loaded gun. I'd hired Tom Vickers 3 weeks ago, paid him $5,000 to follow my wife and document what she was doing. Tom was former police, ran a small PI firm out of a strip mall office. Good guy, didn't judge, just did the work. I opened the folder. The first photo showed Natalie and Dorian at some upscale wine bar downtown. Her hand on his arm, laughing at something he said. Could be innocent, could be professional. Then I saw the timestamp. 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. She'd told me she was at a curriculum planning meeting that night. Next photo. Same night, different angle. Dorian's hand on the small of her back, guiding her toward his car. A Tesla, of course. Guys like him always drove Teslas. Third photo. Thursday afternoon, 2 weeks ago. Natalie coming out of the Riverside Hotel. Same clothes she'd worn that morning when she left for lunch with her sister. Dorian followed 30 seconds later, different exit, but Tom had caught both. My hands were steady as I flipped through them. Dozens of photos. Different days, different locations. Coffee shops, restaurants. That hotel 3 more times. Then I found the financial records. Tom had accessed our joint account statements. Legal gray area, but I'd given him authorization as my representative. What I saw made my stomach drop. Transfers. Lots of them. 5,000 here, 8,000 there, 3,000 to something called Alpha Momentum Coaching LLC. That had to be Dorian's company. Over the past 6 months, Natalie had moved almost $90,000 out of our account. My inheritance money. The money Uncle Raymond left me to secure my future. There was more. A credit card I didn't recognize, open in both our names, but with statements go to P.O. Box. $42,000 in charges. Luxury hotels, expensive dinners, a furniture purchase for $3,500. Furniture for where? We hadn't bought any furniture. Then I found the real kicker. A lease agreement. Natalie had co-signed for an apartment downtown. 2-bedroom, high-rise building, $2,800 a month. The co-signer? Dorian Steele. She wasn't just having an affair. She was building a life with him. Using my money. I sat back in my chair, staring at the ceiling of my office. The building was quiet, just the hum of the AC and distant traffic. I should have felt destroyed, betrayed, broken. Instead, I felt something else. Clarity. I pulled out my phone and called Jerry Wiseman, my attorney. He'd handled my business contracts for years. Good man, sharp mind. Warren. Jerry answered on the second ring. Little late for a call. Everything okay? No, I said. I need a divorce lawyer. Best one you know. And I need to talk about protecting my assets. Jerry was quiet for a moment. Your wife? Yeah. I'll text you a name. Rachel Kincaid. She's a shark, Warren. Doesn't lose. But she's expensive. I've got the money, I said. Then I paused. Actually, I need to make sure I still have the money. Can you help me freeze that joint account? I can guide you, but you'll need to move fast. First thing tomorrow, go to the bank. Close the joint account. Open a new one in your name only. Transfer everything that's yours. You'll need documentation showing it was your inheritance. I have that. Good. Do it first thing. Don't tell Natalie. Don't give her warning. Just do it. We talked for another 20 minutes. Jerry walked me through steps, strategies, what to expect. When I hung up, I had a plan. Then my phone buzzed. Text from Trent, my stepson, the 20-year-old. Hey Warren, can we talk? Not about tonight. About something else. It's important. I stared at the message. Trent had barely spoken to me in months. Now he wanted to talk. I typed back. Sure. When? Now? I'm outside your office. I walked to the window. Sure enough, Trent's beat-up Honda was parked under the streetlight. He was sitting on the hood, smoking a cigarette. Whatever this was, it couldn't wait. I went downstairs and stepped outside. Trent looked up, flicked the cigarette away. His face was hard to read in the dim light, but I could tell something was eating at him. What's going on? I asked. Trent pulled out his phone, tapped the screen a few times, then handed it to me. You need to see this, and you're going to hate it, but you need to know. I looked at the screen. It was a video file, paused on a dark frame. I pressed play. The image was grainy, shot from above. Bedroom footage, security camera, maybe, or something hidden. And there they were, Natalie and Dorian, in bed, together. No question what they were doing. My jaw clenched. Where did you get this? Trent's voice was quiet. I took it. I put a camera in the guest room 4 months ago. Why? Because she's been making me lie for her, Warren. And I'm done. I stood in the parking lot, holding Trent's phone, watching evidence of my wife's betrayal loop on the screen. The rage I've been holding back all night finally surfaced, hot and sharp. How long? I asked. Trent lit another cigarette, hands shaking slightly. How long have I known? Or how long has it been going on? Both. She started bringing him around in March. Told me in Austin he was a career coach, helping her with professional development. Said we should be supportive. Then I started noticing things. Texts at weird hours. Her leaving at night, saying she was going to the gym, but coming back smelling like cologne. So you planted a camera. Yeah, in the guest room. She'd been taking phone calls in there, closing the door. I figured if something was up, that's where it had happened. He took a drag, exhaled slowly. I was right. First time I caught them was 6 weeks ago. I handed him back his phone. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Trent looked away. Because she's my mom, man. And because she's been paying me. That stopped me cold. What? $500 a week. To keep my mouth shut. She found the camera 2 weeks after I installed it. Instead of freaking out, she just asked what I wanted. I told her I'd expose everything unless she paid. She agreed. This kid, 20 years old, had been blackmailing his own mother. My brain couldn't process it. So why tell me now? I asked. Because tonight at that party, watching her destroy you in front of everyone. Trent's voice broke slightly. That wasn't right. You've been more of a father to me in Austin than our real dad ever was. You showed up, Warren. You actually gave a damn. And she just threw you away like garbage. He pulled out a flash drive from his pocket. There's 47 videos on here. Different days, different times. All of them with Dorian. But that's not all. There's more. Yeah, Mom's been planning to leave you for months. She's been moving money, setting up accounts. And Dorian? He's not who he says he is. I waited. I did some digging. Real name's Derek Vance. He's wanted in Nevada and Arizona for investment fraud. Took over $1 million from people through a fake wealth management company. The whole success coach thing is just his new con. My mind raced. Natalie wasn't just cheating. She was being played. And she'd been playing me the entire time. Does Austin know any of this? I asked. Trent shook his head. Austin's still drinking the Kool-Aid. Thinks Dorian's great. Thinks you're the problem. Mom's been working on him, turning him against you. That hurt more than I expected. Austin, the kid I taught to ride a bike, helped through middle school, believed I was the enemy. What do you want to do with this? I held up the flash drive. Use it. Protect yourself. Because she's coming for everything, Warren. The house, the business, whatever's left of that inheritance money. Dorian's convinced her you're holding her back from her true potential or whatever garbage he feeds her. I pocketed the drive. She's going to know you gave this to me. I know. I'm ready for that. Trent met my eyes. I'm 21 in 3 months. I can leave on my own terms. But I'm not watching her destroy a good man and pretend it's empowerment. We stood there in the parking lot, the night air cooling, neither of us sure what to say next. Finally, I spoke. Thank you. This took guts. Just do me a favor, Trent said. When you take her down, make it count. I drove home at midnight. The house was dark. Natalie's car was gone. Probably at Dorian's apartment, the one I paid for without knowing it. I walked inside, went straight to our bedroom, and started packing her things. Every dress, every shoe, every piece of jewelry I'd bought her over the years. Boxes and suitcases piled in the hallway. Tomorrow morning, the bank. Tomorrow afternoon, the lawyer. Tomorrow night, the conversation that would end this marriage. But tonight, I was done being the fool. I was at First National Bank when the doors opened at 9 a.m. Hadn't slept, didn't care. I had Uncle Raymond's will, the transfer documentation, and a fire in my gut that wouldn't quit. The branch manager, Patricia Hollings, knew me from years of business banking. Her smile faded when she saw my expression. Warren, what can I help you with? I need to close my joint account with Natalie Pierce and open a new account in my name only. Transfer everything that's legally mine. Patricia's professional mask slipped for just a second. I see. Do you have documentation showing the source of the funds? I slid the folder across her desk. $340,000 came from my uncle's estate in March. I can trace every dollar. What's left in that account is mine. She reviewed the documents carefully. There's currently $218,000 in the joint account. My jaw tightened. Natalie had burned through $122,000 in 5 months. Transfer it all to a new individual account. Today, Warren, you understand that closing a joint account can have legal implications if you're married. I understand perfectly. My attorney's already filed the paperwork. I'm protecting what's mine before my wife drains it completely. Patricia nodded slowly. Give me an hour. While she processed everything, I called Rachel Kincaid, the divorce attorney Jerry had recommended. Her assistant put me through immediately. Mr. Pierce. Rachel's voice was crisp, efficient. Jerry Wiseman briefed me on your situation. I've reviewed the preliminary information he sent. We need to meet today. I can be there at 11. Perfect. Bring everything. Bank records, the investigation file, property documents, business papers. Everything. At 10:30, Patricia handed me new account papers. All set. The joint account is closed. $218,000 is now in your individual account. I'd recommend changing your passwords and security questions. Already planned. I left the bank and drove straight to Rachel Kincaid's office. Her firm occupied the 10th floor of a downtown building, all glass and steel and money. Rachel herself was mid-50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes. She didn't waste time on pleasantries. Sit. Talk. Tell me everything. I laid it all out. The affair, the money transfers, Dorian's real identity, the videos from Trent, the co-signed apartment lease. She took notes on a legal pad, her pen moving fast. The videos, Rachel said, they're time-stamped and clear. Crystal clear. 47 different occasions. Good. That establishes a pattern. Now, your business. Pierce Roofing. How is it structured? LLC. Established before the marriage. She's not on any of the paperwork. Excellent. That makes it separate property. What about the house? Both names on the mortgage. I've been making the payments from my business account for 8 years. Rachel made a note. We can argue that. What about her income? She's a high school teacher. Makes about $72,000 a year. But she hasn't contributed to the mortgage in over 3 years. Claims her salary goes to household expenses, which you can't verify. Correct. Rachel looked up. Here's what we're going to do. First, I'm filing for divorce today. No warning. No discussion. We cite adultery, include the financial misconduct. Second, we're getting a restraining order to prevent her from accessing any remaining joint assets. Third, we're going after Dorian Steele, or Derek Vance, or whatever his real name is. Going after him how? Civil suit. Alienation of affection. Fraud. Conspiracy to commit theft. We're going to make his life a legal nightmare. If he's got warrants in other states, we'll make sure those jurisdictions know where to find him. I felt something close to satisfaction for the first time in days. When do we start? We already have. Rachel's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. That's my process server. He's at your wife's school right now. My eyes widened. You're serving her at work? You said she humiliated you in public. Turnabout's fair play. Besides, we need to establish a timeline. The sooner she's served, the sooner we control the narrative. 20 minutes later, Rachel's phone rang. She answered, listened, then smiled coldly. Papers are served. Your wife is officially notified. According to my guy, she went pale, started crying, caused quite a scene in the teacher's lounge. I should have felt bad about that. I didn't. What happens now? I asked. Now we wait for her to make a move. She'll call, probably beg, maybe threaten. Don't answer. Don't engage. Every communication goes through me. Understand? Understood. One more thing. Rachel said. Your stepson, Trent. The one who gave you the videos. He's gonna need a lawyer too. When your wife finds out he betrayed her, she'll come after him. He's almost 21. Legally an adult. Doesn't matter. She'll try to intimidate him. Maybe cut him off financially. Make sure he's protected. I nodded. I'll handle it. I left Rachel's office with a clear battle plan. For the first time since that 4th of July party, I felt like I wasn't drowning anymore. My phone rang. Natalie. I let go to voicemail. It rang again. Again. 5 calls in 10 minutes. Then a text. Warren, what the hell did you do? Call me now. I forwarded the message to Rachel and turned off my phone. I went to the office, told my foreman Danny to handle the day's jobs, and locked myself in the back room. My phone stayed off, but I'd given Trent a burner number in case of emergency. At 2 p.m., the burner rang. Warren, it's me. Trent said, voice tight. Mom knows. She knows everything. How bad? She came home screaming. Found her stuff packed in boxes. Lost her mind. She's been calling you nonstop. When that didn't work, she called me. Started asking if I knew anything about divorce papers or bank accounts. What did you tell her? Nothing. Play dumb. But she's not buying it. She asked about the videos, Warren. She knows someone gave you the videos. My grip tightened on the phone. She say anything about Dorian? Yeah. He's gone. Vanished. His phone's disconnected. The apartment's empty. She went there this morning after getting served and found it cleared out. No furniture, no clothes, nothing. Like he was never there. I wasn't surprised. Guys like Derek Vance don't stick around when the heat comes. They disappear, find a new mark, start the con over somewhere else. Where's Austin? I asked. With her. He's furious at you. Thinks you're destroying the family. Mom's been feeding him her version. Says you're being cruel and vindictive. That stung, but I expected it. Austin was younger, more susceptible to Natalie's manipulation. He'd been her golden child from the start. Are you safe? I asked Trent. For now. But I'm getting out tonight. Staying with a friend. I don't trust her right now. Smart. Stay low. Stay safe. I'll make sure you're taken care of. I don't need money, Warren. I just need you to finish this. Don't let her win. After we hung up, I turned my regular phone back on. 38 missed calls. 22 voicemails. Dozens of texts. I didn't read or listen to any of them. Just forwarded them all to Rachel. At 4 p.m., my brother Colin's care facility called. Mr. Pierce, this is Sandra at Riverside Care. We had an incident today. My blood went cold. Is Colin okay? He's fine physically, but a woman came by claiming to be family. She tried to convince our staff that Colin should be transferred to a state facility, said the family couldn't afford private care anymore. She became quite aggressive when we refused. What did this woman look like? Sandra described Natalie perfectly. She's not authorized to make any decisions about Colin's care, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. She's my soon-to-be ex-wife. I need you to add her to a no-contact list immediately. We'll take care of it. I'm sorry this happened. Not your fault. Thank you for protecting him. I hung up and immediately called Rachel. She went after my brother, I said. Try to get him transferred out of private care. Rachel's voice went ice cold. That's harassment and interference with a vulnerable adult. I'm adding it to our filing. This woman is digging her own grave. She's desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. Let her keep making them. Every move she makes, document it and send it to me. We're building a case that will bury her. That evening, I got another call from the burner. This time it was someone else. Mr. Pierce, this is Austin. I sat up straight. Austin, you okay? No, I'm not. His voice was shaky. She's not okay. She's been drinking, crying, breaking things. She says you stole everything from her, that you're trying to ruin her life. Austin, that's not true. Your mom. I know, he interrupted. I know what she did. Trent told me. Show me the videos. My heart skipped. He did. Yeah. I didn't believe him at first. Thought he was lying to protect you. But then he showed me the bank statements, the credit cards, the apartment lease. All of it. I waited, letting him process. I'm sorry, Warren, Austin said quietly. I said some bad things about you. I believed her when she said you were the problem. I was wrong. You were protecting your mother. I understand. No, I was being stupid. You were the one who showed up. You were the one who cared. And I threw in your face. Austin, I want to help. Whatever you need. I'll testify. I'll give a statement, whatever. She needs to face what she did. I closed my eyes. That means a lot. But this is going to get ugly. Are you ready for that? I'm ready. Trent's staying with me at his friend's place. We're both done protecting her. After we hung up, I sat in the silence of my office. Both boys on my side. Natalie isolated. Dorian gone. The legal machine in motion. For the first time in months, I felt like maybe, just maybe, justice was possible. 3 days after serving Natalie with divorce papers, Trent called me on the burner phone. His voice had an edge I hadn't heard before. Warren, I found something else. You need to see this. We met at a diner outside town, the kind of place where nobody asked questions. Trent slid into the booth across from me, looking like he hadn't slept in days. What is it? I asked. He pulled out a phone. Not his regular one. This was an older model, password-protected screen showing. I found Mom's second phone, Trent said. She kept it hidden in her closet, behind some boxes. I only found it because I was grabbing my stuff before I left the house. You got into it. Her password was Dorian's birthday. Took me 3 tries. He unlocked the screen and handed it to me. Start with the messages. I scrolled through the texts. Conversations with Dorian going back almost a year, way longer than the 7 months she'd admitted to. But that wasn't the worst part. There were messages with other men too. 3 of them. One conversation particularly stood out. A guy named Rick Holloway. The same Rick who'd hosted the 4th of July party. She was sleeping with him too. I asked, my voice tight. Looks like it. 3 months ago, maybe 4. He ended it. Said it was getting too complicated. She wasn't happy about that. I kept scrolling. Another man, someone named Paul Stevenson. Messages from 2 years back. Explicit photos, hotel meetups, promises of leaving me when the time was right. How long has this been going on? I muttered, more to myself than Trent. I found something else, Trent said. He took the phone back, opened a different app. She's been on Ashley Madison for 3 years. Active profile, 47 different conversations. Some of them she met in person. My hands clenched on the table. 47. At least. Some of the messages are deleted, so it might be more. But here's the thing that really got me. He opened the Notes app. She's been keeping records. Dates, names, how much money she got from each guy. Warren, she's been running a game on multiple men for years. I read through her notes. Detailed entries like a business ledger. Paul Stevenson, $12,000 over 6 months. Rick Holloway, $8,500. Dorian Steele, $90,000 and climbing. Others I didn't recognize, smaller amounts. She was never faithful, I said quietly. From the beginning. I'm sorry, man, Trent said. I know this is rough. I looked up at him. Don't apologize. You're giving me the truth. That takes guts. I slid the phone back. Can you make copies of everything? Every message, every photo, every note. Already did. It's all on this. He handed me another flash drive. Screenshots, exported messages, the whole thing. I also found her Ashley Madison login info. It's in a text file on the drive. Good. My attorney's going to need this. Trent hesitated. There's one more thing. In her messages with Dorian, they were planning something. They talked about waiting until after you put more money into the house, then pushing for divorce. They wanted to maximize what she could take from you. They were planning the end game. Yeah, and it gets worse. She told Dorian about your brother Colin, about the money you spend on his care. Dorian suggested she could argue in court that you were wasting marital assets on non-essential expenses. Rage flared hot in my chest. They were going to use my brother against me. They were going to use everything. Your business, your inheritance, Colin. All of it. I took a slow breath, forcing myself to stay calm. They made one mistake. What's that? They assumed I'd never fight back, that I'd just take it. I met Trent's eyes. I'm not that man anymore. We sat there for a moment, the diner noise fading into background static. What are you going to do? Trent asked. I'm going to give this to Rachel. Let her turn it into ammunition. Then I'm going to make sure Natalie understands exactly what happens when you underestimate someone. Trent smiled for the first time since he'd sat down. Good. Rachel Kincaid's reaction to the second phone evidence was immediate and fierce. This changes everything, she said, spreading the printed screenshots across her conference table. This isn't just adultery. This is systematic fraud, potential prostitution, definitely financial exploitation. Can we use all of it in court? I asked. Every single piece. The Ashley Madison account alone establishes a pattern of deception. The fact that she documented payments from multiple men, that's evidence of intent. And these messages with Dorian planning to maximize what they could take from you, that's conspiracy. What's our next move? Rachel's smile was sharp. We go on offense. I'm amending our divorce filing to include this new evidence. I'm also filing a motion to depose your wife immediately. We're going to put her under oath and ask her about every single one of these men. She'll lie. Probably. But lying under oath is perjury. Either way, she loses. Rachel pulled up a calendar on her computer. We have a preliminary hearing in 10 days. Judge Patterson is presiding. He's old school, doesn't tolerate infidelity or financial games. This evidence will play very well. What about Dorian? Any word on him? My investigator tracked him to Phoenix. He's using a different name now, already targeting a new woman. I've been in contact with authorities in Arizona and Nevada. They're very interested in talking to him. Will they extradite? If they can build a case, yes. But more importantly, I've frozen his assets here. That apartment your wife co-signed for? I got a court order. The landlord's been notified that the lease was obtained through fraud. Dorian's getting evicted, and his security deposit is being held pending legal action. I felt satisfaction at that. Good. There's one more thing we need to discuss. Rachel said, her tone shifting. Your wife is going to make a play. Probably soon. She's desperate, cornered, and she knows you have evidence. She'll either try to negotiate or try to destroy you. We need to be ready for both. What kind of destruction? False accusations, abuse claims, financial impropriety, anything to shift the narrative. We've already filed protective documentation, but be prepared. Don't meet with her alone. Don't communicate except through me, and document everything. I nodded. Understood. That evening, I got a text from Austin on the burner phone. Mom wants to meet with you. She's asking me to set it up. What should I tell her? I called him instead of texting back. Tell her all communication goes through my attorney. She's saying she wants to apologize, that she made mistakes and wants to fix things. Austin, she doesn't want to fix anything. She wants to manipulate me into a weaker position. Don't fall for it. I know, Austin said. I just wanted to warn you. She's planning something. I can tell. Let her plan. I'm 3 steps ahead. The next morning, Natalie showed up at my office. My secretary, Linda, called me immediately. Warren, your wife is here. She's demanding to see you. Tell her I'm unavailable and all communication needs to go through my attorney. I did. She's refusing to leave. Says she'll wait as long as it takes. I thought for a moment. Call the police. Tell them there's a trespasser who won't leave private property. Are you sure? I'm sure. She's not on the approved visitor list. She's not welcome here. She needs to leave. 20 minutes later, 2 officers arrived. I watched from my office window as they spoke with Natalie in the parking lot. She gestured wildly, clearly emotional. They remained calm, professional. After 10 minutes, she got in her car and drove away. One of the officers came inside. Mr. Pierce, we've advised her to leave. If she returns, call us immediately and we'll issue a formal trespassing warning. Thank you, officer. After they left, Rachel called. I just got a very angry voicemail from your wife's new attorney. Apparently, having her removed from your business was harassment and intimidation. She showed up unannounced and refused to leave when asked. That's what I told him. He backed down pretty quickly. But Warren, she's hired Dennis Kruger. He's expensive, aggressive, and doesn't have many scruples. Can he beat you? Rachel laughed. Not with the evidence we have. But he'll make noise. Be ready for that. That night, I got a final message for Natalie. She'd somehow gotten the burner number. Warren, please. We need to talk. I made mistakes, but we can fix this. Don't throw away everything we built. I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed back, you didn't make mistakes. You made choices. Every single day, for years. You chose to lie, cheat, and steal. Those weren't accidents. They were decisions. Now you live with the consequences. I blocked the number and went to sleep easier than I had in months. The preliminary hearing came faster than I expected. Judge Patterson's courtroom was wood-paneled and formal, the kind of place where consequences felt real and permanent. Natalie sat across the aisle with her attorney, Dennis Kruger. She wore a conservative dress, minimal makeup, the picture of a wronged woman. It might have worked on someone who didn't know the truth. Rachel stood when the judge entered. Your Honor, we're prepared to present evidence of systematic adultery, financial fraud, and conspiracy to defraud my client of his inheritance and assets. Kruger objected immediately. Your Honor, these are inflammatory accusations designed to... Judge Patterson raised his hand. I'll hear the evidence, Mr. Kruger. Ms. Kincaid, proceed. Rachel presented everything. The original investigator's photos, the financial records showing $90,000 transferred to Dorian Steele, the co-signed apartment lease. Then she dropped the bigger bomb. Your Honor, we've also discovered evidence of additional affairs spanning 3 years. She submitted the screenshots from the second phone. Mrs. Pierce maintained an active profile on a website designed for extramarital affairs. She documented 47 different contacts and kept detailed records of money received from multiple men. The courtroom went silent. Even Kruger looked stunned. Judge Patterson reviewed the documents, his expression hardening with each page. Mrs. Pierce, did you maintain relationships with multiple men during your marriage? Natalie's voice shook. Your Honor, I was unhappy. My husband was emotionally distant. That's not what I asked. Yes or no? She hesitated. Yes, but did you receive money from these men? Another pause. Some of them helped me financially. Did your husband know about these relationships or these payments? No. Judge Patterson set down the papers. Ms. Kincaid, what are you seeking? Full dissolution with fault assigned to Mrs. Pierce. Return of all marital assets derived from my client's inheritance. Mrs. Pierce to be solely responsible for debts she incurred, including the fraudulent credit cards. And we're requesting she be barred from any claim to my client's business or future earnings. Mr. Kruger? Kruger stood, clearly scrambling. Your Honor, my client made mistakes, but she's entitled to equitable distribution. Equitable. Judge Patterson's voice was sharp. She stole from her husband, committed adultery with multiple partners, and documented financial exploitation. Where's the equity in that? Your Honor, I've heard enough. Here's my preliminary ruling. Mr. Pierce retains all assets traceable to his inheritance. Mrs. Pierce is responsible for all debts in her name. The house will be sold, proceeds split equally after Mr. Pierce is reimbursed for mortgage payments he made from separate funds. Mrs. Pierce's claim to the business is denied. Formal orders will be filed within 10 days. Natalie started crying. Real tears this time, not the calculated kind. She just lost everything. As we left the courtroom, Rachel leaned close. It's not over yet, but that went as well as we could have hoped. What about criminal charges against Dorian? Arizona picked him up 2 days ago. He's facing fraud charges there. Once they're done, Nevada wants him. He's looking at serious prison time. Outside, Trent and Austin waited. Both gave me fierce hugs. You did it, Trent said. We did it. I corrected. You two gave me the evidence I needed. You saved me. Austin's eyes were wet. What happens to Mom? She'll have to rebuild her life. That's on her now. We stood there in the courthouse parking lot. 3 men trying to figure out what came next. You're still my dad, Austin said quietly. If that's okay. Something in my chest broke open. More than okay, son. More than okay. 11 months later, I stood in the shell of what would become my new house. Not the one I'd shared with Natalie. I'd walked away from that without looking back. This was mine, built from the ground up on 5 acres outside town. The divorce finalized 4 months after the preliminary hearing. Natalie fought every step, but the evidence was overwhelming. She walked away with half the house sale proceeds, about $60,000 after debts, and nothing else. The judge ordered her to repay $42,000 she'd stolen from my inheritance, though I wasn't holding my breath on ever seeing that money. Dorian, or Derek Vance, as he was legally known, got 8 years in federal prison. Arizona convicted him on 3 counts of wire fraud. Nevada was waiting with more charges. He'd be an old man before he breathed free air again. My business was thriving. Turned out, when you're not supporting a wife who's bleeding you dry, you can actually save money. I'd hired 3 more guys, landed 2 major commercial contracts, and had a waiting list of residential jobs. Trent was in community college, studying business management. He lived in a small apartment I helped him get, working part-time at the company. The kid had a good head for logistics, knew how to handle customers. He'd make a fine partner someday if he wanted it. Austin was finishing his senior year of high school. Lived with me in the rental I was using while the new house was being built. We'd gotten into a rhythm, breakfast together, him helping on job sites on weekends, me making sure he didn't slack on college applications. He got accepted to 3 universities. Chose the one 4 hours away, far enough to spread his wings, but close enough to come home when he needed to. Natalie had moved in with her sister 2 counties over. According to Trent, she was working as a substitute teacher and dating someone new. I didn't ask for details. That part of my life was closed. Colin was doing well at Riverside Care. I visited him every Sunday, sometimes brought the boys. They'd grown fond of him, understood why he mattered to me. That meant more than I could express. As for me, I was different now. Harder in some ways, but stronger. I'd learned what betrayal felt like, and I'd learned I could survive it. More than survive, I could rebuild. The contractor walked over, clipboard in hand. "Warren, we need to finalize the kitchen layout." I followed him inside, looking at the space that would become the heart of my home. Big windows facing east, good light in the mornings. Island with seating for 4. Room for family, whoever that family turned out to be. My phone buzzed. Text from Austin. Got my acceptance letter from state. Full ride scholarship. "We did it, Dad." I smiled, typed back. "You did it. Proud of you, son." The contractor was still talking about countertops and cabinet configurations, but I was thinking about something else. About how you can lose everything you thought mattered and discover you still have everything you actually need. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who stand with you when everything falls apart. The ones who tell you the truth, even when it hurts them. The ones who call you dad, even though they don't have to. I'd lost a wife, but I'd gained sons. And in the morning light streaming through the unfinished windows of my new house, that felt like the better deal.